hey, this is like a pre-intro to the actual intro. So I don't know what the hell happened to Caleb's mic, but toward the end of the podcast, the actual like body of it, some static started picking up, and I tried to work with it, but it's just picking up. And then because we do the intros at the end, it picked up pretty heavily. I tried to fix it the best I can, but if you hear any like crackling noises, that's what that is. It only happens in the intro, and then, like I said, at the end of the actual podcast. So just keep an eye out for that, So, all right, I'm started now. Bye. Episode 8, motherfuckers. I figured.
You had that one in the chamber?
Yeah, no, honestly, when you walked out, I was just like, yeah, let's just fucking start it this way.
I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to call them motherfuckers.
Jesus. I didn't say it like that. I said motherfuckers. Wow, this is going on too long. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Nick and Ted podcast.
It is Easter.
Yes, it is.
We just enjoyed a good Easter.
Fuck, yeah, we did. We talked a tiny bit about that.
Yeah, and now we're ending it on a good podcast.
Yeah, we are. And honestly, it was just nice. It was nice to have this talk with you. It was cool.
Hell yeah, man.
I mean, we always have really nice talks, but it was just cool because it was, like you said, really nice way to end the day with, again, my schedule just going and going and going. Today was just fucking awesome. It was great.
And I love when it's just us and we get to dive deep into shit.
Yeah.
Like this was another one where we just got to dive deep into it.
I don't think we're ever going to have one where we're not, unless we're like fucking drunk. And even then, we'll probably get like real deep, probably cry a little bit. You know what I do want to talk about one day? Is New Year's. When I fucking broke down crying in front of you.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I got a little scared.
No.
I was like, there's some stuff that happened on New Year's.
No, I mean, in short, just so it doesn't sound like it's a fucking weird thing, because this is the intro. What am I doing? That I was just telling everybody how thankful I was for them.
You were being super appreciative of everyone there, but then
pulled Caleb to the side, and I got 3 words out and fucking broke down crying.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Like
honestly,
crying like I couldn't get words.
I almost didn't know how to function because I've never had somebody like open up
boy, wait,
appreciation to
wait
be like
till
that.
You get fucking married.
Oh god,
I'm gonna make you cry like a bitch.
Oh fuck yeah, please.
So yes. Again,
anyway,
welcome back to the podcast.
Hey guys, this is the fucking intro.
So it was a really good conversation. We had a lot of fun with this one. We are going to be opening up emails.
Emails and messages
on Twitter and Instagram.
We want to do whether it's a whole Q&A
type of thing
episode, or if we want to do just like a segment in one episode or what. But we basically want to kind of have you guys have more of an interactive experience with the podcast rather than just being like, hey, we're 2 guys, you should hear us talk. But
I've run into a lot of people, especially I went and got my car worked on. And this is I'm not trying to point all these people out, but where my brother works in the car dealership, a lot of guys there listen to this. And they were coming up to me and they're like, I like the podcast. And I'm
love that.
I love it too, but it's I don't want to just say thank you. You know what? I want you to be part of this. Have fun with us. I want to answer. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, if you want to ask us how we deal with a certain problem, we go into a little bit more depth about it at the end of this podcast. So if you are interested, stick around and listen.
Yeah.
But I think we'll wrap that up on the intro because that was a bit longer than it needed to be.
Yeah, but just to hit the point, send us stuff. Yep. Send us what you think, but
send us dank memes.
We're okay, Elon Musk. we're looking for a more interactive experience on one of the episodes or multiple episodes, and so
it's like having hundreds of guests.
Yeah,
at once.
That would be really dope. And so we want to not only read what you have to say on the episode, but read who said it if you want it not to be anonymous.
Right. So
you obviously get that option.
I'm stressing this, and I stress it at the end as well.
If you don't tell us, we're going to say who said it.
Yes.
So stress the anonymity. But
anonymity.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
But
fuck.
If you want to be anonymous, make sure that's said. But we want to do a segment that's interactive. We want to talk about, hey, my buddy Jordan said this. Yeah. And Jordan's one of the fucking the other guy Jordan, one of our my favorite listeners. No, the dude Jay that lives a couple states up.
Okay,
that messaged both of us, always gives us feedback, always gives us advice. fucking solid dude.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know the intro's long as fuck.
It's so long.
But like, we want it to be like, oh, like my buddy Jordan said this, this, and this. Like he said that we're sacks of shit. He said that we don't listen to anything he says. No, I'm kidding. But like, and then we'll read what people say on here, and then it'll be more interactive for you. You'll get to hear what you said. You'll get to hear your name being said next to it and everything. So it'll be fucking great.
With all that said, Twitter and Instagram and the email, NICKANDTUB is Twitter.
The @ names.
And then the email is the Nick and Tub podcast, all spelled out correctly at Gmail. And we talk about it a little bit more at the end. So with that being said, welcome to episode 8.
Hope you guys like it. And we enjoyed it.
Yep. So here we go. We're going to start it
now. Let's get right into it.
Here we go.
So hear me out.
No. I have a feeling I know what it is.
Hear me out. So you know how like everybody's so against eating bugs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like people always watch those weird like Discovery Channel videos of people eating like crickets and scorpions and like worms and all that shit. And they're like, ew, that's so gross, right? Nobody would eat lobster or shrimp or crab if it was land animals. And you know I'm right.
But I mean, I think we briefly went over this. And I gave you the example of like Timon and Pumbaa, right? And they crack open the snails all gooey.
Yeah, no, but like nobody ever is just daydreaming about escargot like that, you know?
True.
And so like if somebody saw a lobster, like you know how those motherfuckers look, like in the desert when you flipped over a rock and that shit was just like towards you. You would absolutely shit your pants. I mean, and so if I was like, you know, that probably would be pretty good to eat it. Like I would be shunned from society. But we eat lobster, we eat shrimp, we eat crab. We think they're like, you know, fine delicacies and they're super good. But we only think that because it's from the ocean and seafood is tasty.
I guess that's fair.
So if you
are you talking about like really quick, just fix that so that it's facing this way so you don't have to raise it? No, you're good. No, this is part we can talk about. I don't give a fuck. We're just fixing the mic. There you go. Perfect. Okay. So it's actually like directed into it.
Gotcha.
Are you talking about if this was a like rapid change of pace right away?
No, I mean if this was like if the roles were switched and like crickets and scorpions and spiders and everything.
Crickets are the shrimp of the sea.
But they're all seafood.
Okay.
And we think so highly of fish and seafood and everything.
It's not normalized yet because some people like don't. I know people eat like fried crickets and shit.
Well, yeah, but it's like people. If you go and ask a survey of people, they're like, "Ew, eating bugs is gross."
Yeah, I agree.
But I guarantee, if you like had some new weird crustacean that was found and people were like, oh, like this is the next best dish. It's like high class seafood. People would be like, oh, it looks so good. I had to try it. But if we were like, psych, bitch, that's found in the Sahara Desert. They were like, oh, that's gross.
That takes convincing of, excuse me, takes convincing of like people, right? What's that thing where they go out into the streets with a normal pair of shoes? They actually did this with a store. Where they took when Payless was going out, right? Payless is the store that just went out, the shoe store. They took all the shoes and put it in a super expensive, and I saw it was on the news. I was like, these fucking idiots.
No way.
Took the shoes and put them on these displays. Normal fucking shoes, right? Like New Balances.
But like bougie ass brands?
Yes. And like there were a pair of boots that had like bedazzled fucking bullshit on them and were sitting on a shelf by itself and this light beaming down on it. And they were like, what do you think of this boot? And this woman was like, I think the creator of this shoe was just like they had this thing that they had envisioned. And like if you look at how they perfectly put the diamonds and shit all over it, which were just fucking fake plastic pieces that weren't in, and just like all this bullshit. And these people talking about these shoes like, oh yeah, I could see these costing like $700-800. These creators were geniuses. And at the end, they literally on the news were like, these are from Payless. They cost $25. And they were like, you're joking. And you could tell how fucking stupid they felt. So I think it's the same thing of like,
yeah, it's all about how it's presented.
Right.
Yeah. And that's my thing. Like people are so like grossed out about bugs, but I guarantee, right? We could go find some like Amazon rainforest bug, some big gross ass fucker, and then just put it in a tank at Red Lobster, and they're like, "Oh, what's that?"
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I agree. I fucking hate that the Californians do that shit. Yeah, no, totally. No, yeah, no.
No, yeah,
But,
yeah, totally.
Yeah, totally. And we know what the fuck we're saying.
It just
what the fuck? I'm a clear.
Oh my God, you have not stopped.
I can't stop.
Fucking the new Lil Dicky song, Earth, where he has like a million features, and Lil Jon's one line
is, what the fuck? I'm a Claire.
And Nick's obsessed with that shit. It's fucking gold though. The song is it's
meant to be stupid.
Yeah, no, this is the thing. Like, people are calling the song trash.
Your buddy Jay Hotz.
Well, not just him. Like, a lot of people are calling the song trash, but like, I don't think he didn't fucking make the song to make some fucking banger. Like, he didn't make it to go, oh yeah, this is going to be one of my best songs. It's going to be a top hit. No. He obviously made it to have fun with it, to like kind of show off, just like, I can get all of these people on one track.
But also on top of that,
slight flex.
As it is the flex mixed in with the fact that I think he was, obviously it's a joke, but if you really like pay attention to what he's doing, it actually gets the message across.
No, yeah, he's trying to spread a message.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, he's trying
and
to,
it worked perfectly.
Yeah, and I mean, he like stirred up news about it and everything.
Did he?
Yeah, he put on Twitter like a video of him. He's like, "Oh, I'm dropping a new track tomorrow," and like 2 words, Justin Bieber. Yeah, and everyone's like, "Oh my fucking God!" And even me, I was like, "Oh, this shit's gonna be hot."
Right.
And then it was like,
yeah, hot
that.
shit, literally hot
but like,
shit.
That's the thing. Like, we all know when Lil Dicky actually like makes music, he makes good ass music.
Yeah.
And when he wants to fuck around, he fucks around.
What's that song you and Joel were talking about, bruh? Right?
Oh yeah.
I actually listened to it for the first time. You guys know every word to that?
I'd say like 90%.
Even 90% is fucking insane, dude. I was listening to it. I was like, I realized that I was paying too much attention, and I do this with a lot of stuff, but I pay too much attention to like some things. If I didn't catch it, I'm like, why does that make sense? Why does that make sense? And then I miss the next 2 or 3 things that happen. But he goes fucking hard in that song.
So that song, like, I heard it for the first time, like first few times, and I was like, holy shit, this song fucking slaps. Like, and that's like how you know you're really good at rapping, because the entire beat is just like drums. Right. Like, there's nothing else to it. It's just like a little pitter patter of drums.
Right.
And he just fucking goes off. When I first heard it, and this is my personal taste. Like, everybody has their own taste. Everybody probably, like, there are a ton of people who probably think he's trash, and that's fine. Like, I'm personally impressed by rapping ability, flow, and like intricacy of lyrics. Yeah. And that's what like blew my mind about this song. Was it seemed like every single time I listened to the song, I like discovered a new lyric in there that I hadn't paid attention to before. And just like he, like, bar after bar after bar, if you go on Genius, like, the entire song is lit up because you could like click on it and see like the metaphor for every fucking lyric. And like, and one of them, and a lot of it, I had no idea what the fuck he was saying.
Yeah.
Like, one of them, he says like, "You're a player, but I'm Naismith." And I believe Naismith was the person that fucking invented basketball. So he's like, "You're a player, but I invented the game."
Shit. Okay.
And there's another one. It was like, he said, "Forget about your era, Pat Summitt." And Pat Summitt was like one of the greatest like women's college coaches like ever, but she got like dementia, I think, and forgot about her entire career. So it's dementia or Alzheimer's, one of the two. But she legit like completely forgot about her like legendary era that she had of coaching. Holy and shit. Had no idea who she was or what she did. And like, he just throws that in there. And like, line after line, I'm sitting here going through the lyrics on Genius going, holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
And so that's what, like, I was like, oh, I'm gonna fucking learn this.
I don't know what to think of him, just because like I don't listen to his shit, but the stuff that I heard, I was like, yeah, it's cool.
He has a song with Brendan Urie, and that shit is sad.
Brendan Urie's
so
also on that new
good.
Also on that new song. I'm a fat fucking pig. Like, that's it's so stupid.
But actually, this is another point I wanted to bring up, and it's cool that it's like kind of an easy transition. So I've been on and off like pondering about tattoos and like what I want to do with it and everything.
My favorite. I love whenever people who don't have tattoos start talking about them, like, cover yourself.
This is peer pressure. But so I've been thinking of like creative ways and how I want to decide on tattoos because that's like the biggest thing. It's almost like starting an essay. I feel like once you finally start, then more ideas start rolling way easier. But until then, you kind of have like this big block in the way of like your first one, at least for me. And
I was an 18-year-old
idiot. Well, I said at least for me because I remembered about yours and you were just like, fuck it. And
I was just a fucking idiot. Hi, everybody. I have a tattoo on my chest. Majority of my tattoos that I don't regret them, but the placements I wish I could move. Copy and fucking paste them somewhere else, but it's not an option.
Yeah, and I was thinking about it before the podcast, and I was thinking about like, oh, like I should talk about this. And then another part of me is like, but like I don't want anyone to steal my idea. But at the other part, this idea is very general and vague, so it actually could help other people figure out what they want to do with tattoos. But personally, I want to, so like there are a lot of like lyrics and songs that mean a lot to me, but I don't want to just get all writing. I like illustrations more than anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like tattoo, but
again, first tattoo is writing on my chest.
Yeah, sorry, Nick, again.
It's okay. It's okay. No, I don't feel attacked. What I'm saying is like everything where you're like, yeah, I want to get like an illustration with it. And I'm like, yeah, me too. I want to go back. Take me back 6 years, please.
Yeah, but I've been thinking, and I want to find like my favorite lyrics, like the ones that like make you like tear up or give you goosebumps or just fucking like just shake your bones.
Yeah.
I want to get those and like turn the lyric itself into a symbolic representation illustrated.
Yeah.
So rather than like give me a random lyric that you like, one of your favorites.
It's Shakespeare and it's a lyric. It's on my chest. It's if music be the food of love, play on.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
And so like instead of like just getting the writing, I would try to find a way to have like a symbolic illustration of that sentence itself. Right. So like it's if music be the food of love, then play on. Yeah, and then find a way to like have something that in there that like represents music and shows like a food, and
which is why this whole like God damn it, I'm gonna keep coughing through this whole thing. So I got sick last week, and like it's like my body's just recovering, coughing up the worst. One of the worst words is phlegm. I hate phlegm. Phlegm's just, it's gross because I can just see it like this mucusy fucking sticky saliva filled snot fucking ball sitting in the back of your throat.
Straight into people's ears.
So right around, and it's happened the past 3 days, it was with my boss around 10:30. So we're coming up on 9 o'clock or so, but for some reason it's starting early today. No, it's not. I get a tickle in my throat and I fucking cough every time a word comes out of my mouth. So it's just me. If I cough, it's just me clearing my throat. We were talking, the illustration. So like I wanted to make this a whole like music sleeve, and then I ran out of music stuff.
Oh my God.
Because like I didn't want to put stuff on my skin that didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I played piano for a little bit and I actually picked that up fairly easy until that piano disappeared. Not going to talk about that right now. Really sad. But I got a piano tattooed on me. There's is it called an animatronic heart? Animatonic heart. Like an actual heart, not like a fucking a loop and a loop.
I have no idea. And I feel like I might know, but like the way you just said it totally fucked my brain. And so I don't know.
I got to look that up because I'm not trying to do a cornea.
Fuck off.
Heart.
Ambiotic.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay. So animatronic heart. That's an animatronic heart on my left shoulder that is being wrapped around with an XLR cable, microphone cord.
Oh, nice.
Squeezed onto paper, like it's splitting through the paper. And then there's a pen piercing through it. So it's basically pouring my heart out on the paper because I really like writing.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So that,
I like that
the illustration.
So much more.
I came up with that whole idea by myself.
That's amazing.
And that was my second tattoo. So I was proud of that one. That one I actually really like.
A lyric that comes to mind, one that I would tattoo. Yeah. I don't know if I will, but definitely a candidate is one of those. I remember you and I were talking about Reliant K.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about
my boss.
Yeah, your boss likes him too. And we were talking about like lyrics and stuff. Two separate lyrics. one of them I quote all the time, so I'll put that one second. But the one was, a lion on his side, was it the lying or his pride that brought him down? Yeah. And like that it's fucking so lyric is so good. And so that would be something that you could totally illustrate and get that meaning out of it and still be like, no, this is actually a song lyric.
Right.
And then the other one is,
hold on, repeat the lyric one more time.
A lion on his side, was it the lying or his pride that brought him down? And so you can take it as pride being like a self quality, or pride being like his own group of lions.
I don't know how you would illustrate pride, but it would be cool to have like a cluster of lions as a tattoo.
Yeah, and you could do like a bunch of lions like surrounding a lion that's on its side, and then has like a crown above it, like that's broken or something.
That'd be
like,
cool.
The next lyric in it is, once the king of beasts, but now they feast upon the thoughts of his underneath his breaking crown, or something like that.
Yeah,
once
that could
the
be
king
perfectly.
Of beasts, but now they feast on the thoughts beneath his breaking crown.
Right.
Yeah, and so like, dude, they write so well. Relient K is so good. Like, and the other one was, I'm sweeping up the seconds that tick off the clock and saving them for later when I'm too tick to talk.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
What?
Which would also be cool to have like a clock with the fucking like time falling off.
Yeah,
of it.
time falling
like
off.
Things breaking on the floor.
And like falling into like a jar or like an hourglass or something like that.
Yeah.
Like you can take your favorite song lyrics, and if you just add a creative personal twist to it and turn it into a super dope, symbolic, meaningful drawing, and then put that on your fucking body.
I like that a lot.
And so there's so many songs that I would have to like go back through and like just like find those ones that are just like I think if
you put more thought into it, and like I like helping people with tattoos. I think I helped our buddy Joe. He was talking about getting this certain tattoo about like I think his different family members. There was like football and nursing and photography, and I was like, yeah, if you like basically have like a football standing there, something along these lines, and then there's like what are those fucking, you take a picture and it prints it out?
A Polaroid?
Yes. So like a Polaroid leaning against it, and inside that is like nursing stuff. So like, you know, it just includes, it includes everything. Well. Or just having like a roll of film coming down, and each one has parts of your family that like illustrate them doing things.
Yeah.
So like I like helping people come up with tattoos, especially because when I came up with the tattoos that I have, which actually kind of transitions into what I want to talk about, I like the ideas. Nothing against really, and like if he ever hears this, or anybody that, well, I know a few people that listen to this know my old tattoo artist. Nothing against him.
It's your personal choices.
It was my personal choices, and he always makes jokes. He's like, anytime I text him or tell him like congratulations, because I think he just had a kiddo. He's just like, what's up, trader? And all this stuff, because I went to a different artist. It had nothing to do with him. It was the fact of he does traditional art, which is very thick lines. And
yeah, if you want a different style, you want a different style.
You see how thick the lines are on the headphones here and whatnot. And
what's that, your left arm?
Yeah.
Left forearm?
Left forearm. I have a astronaut helmet that has like headphones coming off of it.
And what's in the
It's supposed to be like a reflection of like the moon.
It looks like, oh, okay. Oh, shit, okay.
Or the ground period, and looking out into the night sky kind of thing. His work, he figured out exactly how he likes his work, which was traditional. It's like the pinup girls and whatnot, and like with the old school writing. And and like he does perfectly those
tigers and skulls and roses and all that.
Yeah, and he does sleeves that are like the green and red themed, where it's like got it all the way down. They look fucking sick, but it's not my style. And so the guy that I was going to for a little while, where I would trade video work for tattoos, that eventually ended up fading out, but he put about a quarter of my forearm done, or half of my forearm was done by him, and then the Darth Vader tattoo.
Dude, your Darth Vader tattoo is so fucking sick.
I fucking love it, and that's my last tattoo.
That's my other thing too, is like I want to have tattoos that have two different type of like, one, like meanings to me, but also like I care about mainly like how obviously they mean to me, but I also do care about like how I can impress others with them. Yeah, because like they're still really fucking cool to kind of show off. Yeah, and like I want two different reactions, or I set two different reactions as like my goals. Yeah, if or when I get like two sleeves, let's say. Right. One of them I want to be like super intricate, symbolic, like song lyrics illustrated outward. And all this stuff, and people see them and they're like, oh, it looks really cool. And then you sit there and you like explain it and walk them through each part and why they're connected and everything. And they're like, holy shit, that's amazing. That's what I want for that one. And then for like the other reaction that I want is like your Darth Vader tattoo, where it's like, obviously you're not going to find much symbolic meaning on it.
Right.
I got it because it's fucking badass and it's something that I really personally enjoy, like Star Wars.
Darth Vader speaks to me.
And all I hear is but
that's funny.
But like, oh, there we go. Got him to cough.
Fuck you.
But and the other one, I just want it to be like, you know, like shit that I geek out about, and like I want to put it on my skin just because it looks fucking awesome, and I just want people to be like, oh shit, that's fucking cool. Like I watch or enjoy that same thing, and so the fact that you have it as a tattoo is really fucking dope.
I mean, it's cool because like I like your idea behind like, oh, if people are interested. What I run into a lot of the time is people being like, oh, you got sick tattoos. Can I see them? And then they see them and nothing. They don't care where they came from. Like people show this, especially people who have tattoos that want to talk about their tattoos.
They just want to use it as a tangent.
I fucking hate that, dude. I hate it so much.
It's the whole like, oh, let me ask you about your kids.
Just so I can talk about.
You know
mine.
that I have kids too, and that's where the next hour is going to go.
Yourself. I don't want to talk to you anymore. When people do that shit, I just shut down the conversation. I'm like, you literally open up the conversation to talk to me about you. You self-centered prick.
You're like, oh, your tattoos are really cool. It reminds me of my tattoos.
That's literally like people have said that. So, the transition that I was talking about like 5 minutes ago was regrets. It's a very interesting thing that I constantly battle with.
Interesting.
All the time.
It's cool because we get different perspectives here because I never battle with that.
You always are just...
I'm very, very happy with my life decisions.
Yeah.
Like there are obviously ones that I would change with knowing where I'm at now, but everybody has that.
Right.
But there's I don't consider it a regret because I'm still not upset with the outcome that I'm at right now.
No, of course not. But that's what I'm saying is that's where I have this toss up is like I think we've mentioned before, in multiple conversations, but also on this is like, if you have regrets, then that means that either you're upset. No, see, and that, I don't fucking know. But basically every single moment, everything you've ever done, every breath you've ever taken, every fucking step you took and
every thought you've had,
all of that led you to this exact moment, whether it's you talking to me talking to you, the person listening right now, like you're listening
your whole life led
right
up to
now,
this point.
where you are, because everything led you to that moment, listening to me talk to you about that moment. Moments continue on, and that's what formulates in life, right?
Yeah, it's a continuous timeline.
But like, for example, and this is, I don't know, we can get into this topic either today, or we can get into this topic a different podcast. But I like to think about my past relationship a lot.
Oh, okay.
What do you think I was going to get into?
Totally did not think it was going to go in that direction. I thought you were going to start talking about free will.
Oh, we can talk about that instead. I don't really want to go too much in depth on the whole relationship. But
you're like, oh, thank God.
But like, I don't know. Like, yeah, sure. I spent a year and 3 months with that person, and like, I have no hatred toward them. I hope that she's doing well, whatever. But
yeah, no bad.
There's a part of me that's like, during all that time, fell off from photography. And this isn't having to do with her. This has to do with the relationship as a whole being shit.
Yeah, there's like 3 parts when it comes to that kind of stuff. There's you, your significant other, and the relationship.
Right.
And people who have not been in one that's very serious don't understand. I feel like not that they don't get it, but they don't think about that as a factor.
Right.
And I didn't realize it until I got into one. But like, there's you, there's your girlfriend, and then there's the relationship,
the dynamic.
And there could be something wrong with the relationship where it's not wrong with you and it's nothing wrong with your girlfriend.
Yeah.
It's literally the relationship itself as its own entity has other issues that need to be fixed that aren't personal issues.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to explain without like specific examples.
Right.
But if you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about.
Right. I guess like with regrets, it's not like to regret that whole relationship is to literally regret what is that, 15 months of my life.
Yeah, and it's hard to say you regret an entire thing when it's not all bad.
No,
when a lot of it is good memories.
I don't regret it, especially due to the fact that like whether it was her teaching me or because of her I learned things. Mm-hmm. I learned a lot. It's literally what led me to start this podcast. It put me in the happy position that I am today. Like today is Easter, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm not a big celebrator of Easter. Celebrator? Celebrator. Sure. Okay. I don't celebrate Easter. I love that we do that. We'll come up like, I'll say celebrator, right? Mm-hmm. And then you'll be like, and then I'll be like, celebrator, and then it's like a big person or a person who celebrates big time on Easter.
Yeah.
So, I'm not like I don't
celebrate Easter that much.
Yeah, I don't give that much of a shit. Yeah. But today was fucking awesome.
Hell yeah, it was.
I was invited by Tub like 4 months ago to his family's Easter get together because I went over to the house where they always have it. And the house is huge. And he was telling me there's like fucking over 50 people.
Well, the house is a decent size. The property's huge.
Okay, property's huge, right. So all of their family comes over and their family's friends and extended friends and all this. Everybody has a damn good time, dude. We got there and like the one thing actually Tub was talking about before we started this was that we don't ever want to talk about our day in depth and just today and then that's the whole podcast.
Yeah. Like I don't mind talking about our day if our day was like something crazy,
right?
But like I don't want our one-on-one sessions to ever turn into like, all right, so what did we do today?
And
then we talk about that for like an hour and a half.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, it's like it's superficial, and we didn't start this at all to have superficial conversations. No. And we both know that.
But like I told Tub, I said most of the time when we have these conversations, they typically turn into points, and that's the point that I'm making. So we get there, great food, everybody's really fucking nice. His whole family is it's one big sweetheart family, and everyone's just getting along. There's ping pong, there's a pool, there's volleyball, it's just everything, right? And I just kept telling Caleb, his girlfriend Danny, and our buddy Joel, like, today's really fucking nice, especially because I've been working a lot and I haven't been able to hang out with my friends, and I was just like,
get that break.
And it just felt good, and I was like taking it in, I was like letting the fucking sun burn me, and I was just
it was like great weather. We were playing like good music and eating good food and with good people and doing fun things,
playing volleyball for hours. Yeah. And fucking just it was a great day. And without all the shit that I've ever gone through, I wouldn't be in this mindset where I constantly want to talk about that.
That's true. I never would have thought of that. If I would have had Nick from like a year ago.
Oh yeah.
Dude, Nick, you would have been like you would have been a totally different person.
Yeah, because like again, I'll talk about it in depth in one podcast, probably not here because there's a bunch of other topics, but like I am eventually going to get into my last relationship just due to things that I learned from it.
Yeah, clarity.
And I'm never going to badmouth her. Yeah. There's no reason to. She's living her own life now.
You're very mature about it.
Way past all the fucking hard feelings and all that kind of stuff. But without all of that struggle and all the fucking tears I shed and all of the fights that she and I had, and she went through a lot of shit too through that whole time. Like, it just wasn't a good relationship. We weren't meant for each other. As hard as that was to accept, eventually I did accept it. And that's also why I want to get into that topic one day, is because like, dude, I learned a lot from that. And it's a lot that I can also like tell people is like.
So the question is, it's funny how these things work, man, because you sit here and you look at your life and you think about all the suffering you went through, and you have to ask yourself the question, would I go back and would I prevent that from happening to avoid all the suffering and the quote unquote wasted time?
Right.
Or would I not choose to change anything for the risk of me never learning this great lesson, never gaining this wisdom and turning into this positive person?
Right.
You think, how much longer would it have taken for me to get to this mindset and like optimism and enjoyment of life that I'm at now, if I avoided that relationship and that entire experience. If I avoided that, how long would I have learned that naturally, or would I have gone through some other type of suffering in order to learn it? And so you have to toss it up, man.
I don't think I'd ever go back, just because, like I
think
said,
that's the wise decision to make.
The love that I have, the happiness that I can show now, the way that I'm not afraid to be exactly who I want to be. If I fucking headbang the wrong way to a song, back then I used to get embarrassed. Now I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, now it's such a good feeling.
Yeah,
man.
like when I fucking tear up about excitement, or like when I mentioned this to Caleb's uncle right before we left back home to go do the podcast, was I saw a dog. I was like super stoked about the
dog.
day.
Random dog just ran up to us.
Oh yeah,
it was like holding her own leash.
Yeah, it was super cute, and that's actually one of the benefits I got from my past relationship, is the love for dogs that I have comes from her.
Yeah,
because like over time, you just kind of start to develop the things that your partner does.
Exactly.
And she had this fucking extreme love for dogs. And at first I used to laugh at it, and now it's like, oh, I see a dog and I fucking freak, dude. I'm like, and it's not even bullshit. Like, I get excited. So Caleb's uncle, as we're walking out, I'm like, it's a beautiful day. Your guys' family was wonderful. I thank you for being such a great person. He gives the best hugs in the world. I've been complimented with the best hugs in the world. He tops me. So I'm like, I need to get there.
I think it has to do with how tall you are. I think that plays a huge role.
It's also,
if you can hug someone and then rest your head lightly on top of their head, they're like, I am in a secure place.
Well, that on top of, like, I think it also, I mean, it's not even a weird topic. It's just like with hugs, like I've always been big on those, because it's like, that's a moment. Okay, this is, to some people, it's going to sound corny. It's something I got used to, but I'm very big on like human touch.
Yeah, no.
Like,
no. Yeah, no.
Totally California.
No. Yeah, no.
I'm big on human interaction, right? Like cuddling's huge for me, and like just touch in general. Like if you give your friends a hug goodbye, that's much more special to me than a handshake. I just don't like doing that with everybody because I don't want to make them feel weird.
Yeah, no, and you have, like, I've been saying everything. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
It adds like a sort of charm to people if like someone makes a good joke and then you like laugh and you like put your arm around them, or like you give them a hug, or you just kind of like pat them on the back, or like grab their shoulder, like stuff like that just makes you noticeably lovable. And when you have that quality to you, it attracts the same energy that you give off.
I've actually seen it more recently with some people kind of be
but
okay, it
can be creepy. And that is when both parties are not on the same page.
Right.
So if you're if you're like out with someone and there's this, like, you're say with a group of friends and there's this pretty girl in the group of friends, and you're being like that with her, and she's so used, and this is a topic we can get into later, maybe this podcast, maybe another, but pretty girls are used to guys hitting on them.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the times, like, if a guy is being overly friendly with a girl,
they think that it's for them.
Yeah. They think that they're being hit on, and they're usually right. And I'm not even saying that they're wrong, because like a girl could like read overly friendly interactions with her as the guy like kind of putting out.
Yeah.
And it's usually like 99 times out of 100, it's the guy getting at her. But that situation where you're patting them on the back or putting your arm around them or grabbing their shoulder, now it's weird, right? And even with guys that you're not that comfortable with, or guys that aren't that comfortable with that like level of human interaction, it goes from like, oh shit, like this guy is just so fucking charming and warm, to like, this dude's touching me all the time.
Yeah.
And it's the same exact like actions, but received two totally different ways.
That's where read the room. That's where that comes in.
Exactly.
Read the fucking room.
Yeah.
So that to trail back, seeing the dog, I got excited, and your uncle was like what did he say? What do you like? How do you react to like normal things, or like how do you react at weddings? And I was like, I don't know, dude. I just get excited over everything. I'm just an excitable person. Dog walks up, super fucking stoked. The little girl that came up and asked us if we wanted sundaes, she was 5, and she came up to us.
You guys want nuts on your sundae?
And
I was
she literally, yes, oh my god. She came up and she's just like, hey guys, do you want sundaes? And I'm like, hi, yeah, sure. She's like, do you want a mini or do you want like a full sundae? And I'm like, I'll take a mini. Can I adopt you?
It's like, yeah, you literally, like, she like ran out and you turned to me and you were like, at this age that I am currently at if 24, I had to adopt her, I would.
Oh yeah, if I was put in a position that I had to adopt that little girl, I would. That was the sweetest little girl I've ever met. Go ahead, Tub, just make all the noise in the fucking world. So your uncle asking me that question as a joke, I'm just like, yeah, I get excited over everything. Like some of these weddings I go to, like, yes, I understand that everybody writes vows, right? And a lot of the weddings you go to, well, that's a weird thing. People go to weddings and they're like, wow, it's such a beautiful wedding. And I'll go to weddings and I'm like, I unfortunately pick it apart, right?
C-.
Oh my God. I don't pick it apart.
6 out of 10, do better.
What I see a lot, like one of the things that I see in a lot of speeches is like one day the groom, it's the best man giving a speech. One day the groom met this wonderful person and they treated him so well and he eventually fell in love with that person, and that was me when they met me 20 years ago. That's a joke.
Nick from the back, yawn.
I hear that joke probably if I were to do 10
oh brother.
I hear that joke probably 7 out of 10 weddings, like, and I'm like, okay, it's fine. Like, I love my brother to death. I do, but he said it at his. And to give people don't know that.
Well,
right?
yeah, of course, because I was thinking about that. Like, weddings for people are like one of the most significant moments of their lives, and you go to one like every fucking weekend,
and it's sometimes so 2 or 3.
Crazy. It's so crazy because like, that also has to play a role in like how happy you are all the time, considering you're surrounded by people's like monumental moments of their life.
Yeah. And
you get to experience that love and that joy and that pure fucking like gold that's just surrounding everyone. You get that all the time. You get a pipeline of that shit straight into your veins.
And like people, the other thing about this field is everybody has to, whether they want to or not, be happy around me, because it's going to show in the camera, on the video, and in the photos.
Yeah, true.
They always have to smile at me. And so really, I never get the bad end of things.
Hey, what's wrong? Frowny face, click.
and then on top of that, when they smile and all that, guess what I get to do? Compliment them on their smiles. And then they think I'm a friend. And all of a sudden, I start meeting people that really want to be around me. And it's like, it's just this cycle all the time. That's why I'm extremely happy all the time. And so with weddings, when I hear the vows, if they're very particular to that person and they're just extremely special and they're talking about moments with each other, and like, especially when the guys get choked up, because I mean, a lot of the girls, they're really happy. It's their wedding day. It's the thing they've always thought about. And some of the guys are that way too.
But women, girls dream about like their wedding day since like
they were little.
And guys start dreaming about it like 3 years into their relationship with their girlfriend.
Right. And so like they're really stoked on it all the time. But I've actually gotten teary-eyed a few times with the way that brides talk about their grooms. I'm like, good Lord, you love this person. There have been some where I've just been like, oh no, this is just very odd.
This is gonna crash and burn.
No, never that, because I never want to think that way. But
hey, bro, the photographer said that you guys got 2 years max.
Oh my God. Oh no.
They're placing bets in the back.
I also don't want to make it seem like we do this kind of shit.
I got $20 that you'll last 3 years, bro, so don't let me down.
So with all of that said, right, very excitable person, I get to let my personality shine more because of all the things that have happened before, where in my relationship, again, it had nothing to do with her in particular, it had to do with us. And it was just like, I didn't really get to show my emotion that much. I would, and we wouldn't see eye to eye on those. I'm trying to be as nice as possible about this stuff. I mean, I'm never, like I said, not going to talk about her poorly.
Yeah, everyone has their own side.
Right.
And your side's always going to sound skewed towards the other person, regardless. Even if, like, that's the thing. Say a relationship breaks off 50-50, right?
Yeah.
Half the problems were them, half the problems were you. You can admit your problems, but if you're going to talk about the stuff that affected you the most, you're going to have to talk about their problems.
And that sucks. And I don't.
But
and
that's how the fucking cookie crumbles.
Right.
So.
And I just don't want to do that, because the thing is, and I'm pretty sure eventually, if not already, people understand me, whether that's in person, whether that's over the podcast, whether that's they know me through other people. Like, I try to be as unbiased about things as possible. I try to look at situations, especially my own, from an outside perspective. And with that being said, like, you know, it just, we couldn't see eye to eye on getting excited about things. She just wasn't a very excitable person. I was, and I get bummed out when people aren't that way.
Yeah, like your guys' personality types didn't match up to it.
Not at all.
It was like oil and water.
And so, with that all being said, that eventually started weighing heavily on me.
Well, yeah, because that's a good example of like the three entities of like the girl, the guy, or guy or guy, girl, right? Girl, whatever. The person A, person B, and the relationship. Yeah. So person A is one way, person B is a total opposite.
And it's like, can you make it work?
And that weighs down on entity 3, the relationship.
Right. And if that, and which ours didn't, it never lined up. We thought it did. We thought it was a good idea to date. We both realized afterwards it really wasn't.
Because there are things, man, in relationships where, like, one of my philosophy professors taught me this. And they said, you have to understand where the foundation of your relationship is built. And I try to stress this to my friends who are about to hop into something with people they're with,
right,
or to people who are already in stuff, or people who are just single, who are looking. You have to understand where the foundation of your relationship is built, because if it is something that is temporary, you are going to break up 100%. And what exactly what I mean by that is the professor that I had, his example was, if you get into a relationship with somebody because of how they make you feel, that is not going to last, because feelings are fleeting.
Interesting.
And so if your entire like base reason for being with them is the feeling you get, once that fades, your reason for being with them fades. And so your motivation and your drive and your like total like initiative to continue to pour energy and love into this relationship dies off. Then you guys stop seeing eye to eye. You stop giving a fuck as much. Arguments pop up, and next thing you know, you're splitting ways. I've had a buddy of mine who got into a relationship-esque thing that wasn't quite a relationship, but they both agreed to be exclusive, and they both like had their thing going. They just kept it private. But I kept asking him, I'm like, why do you like this girl? Like, what about her what's your reasoning? What's your base reason? And he's like, oh, we just get along so well, and we enjoy the same things, and and I just love like how like hot she is and all this stuff. And I was like, you have to understand that common interests are not enough for you to just jump into something with the magnitude of a serious relationship.
So what is enough?
So what is enough? It's like common interest is what should get you guys rolling. And then the
loving the person
driver,
like
the main driver for that relationship should be, you cannot get enough of making them feel good, of making them feel loved.
Isn't that selfish though?
How is that selfish?
Well, that's actually a kind of a branch.
But basically, your base foundation has to be them. It has to be how much you enjoy making them feel good, them feel loved, how much you enjoy loving them. And they have to have the same reasoning. That's why it'll be a good, nice cycle. It'll be reciprocated. Because each person will hold a good balance in the relationship. If my reasoning for being with you is I care so much about loving you and care so much about like filling you up with happiness and fulfillment and purpose, and your reasoning is the same exact way, then the more I like rely on my base reasoning for being in the relationship, it will only like help them reciprocate it.
Okay.
It'll help, like it'll incentivize them to do the same back to you.
Tubbs doing a lot of like hand movements, and I'm trying to like
read them. I'm trying to like formulate the words because my brain's a little off. But basically, like when you put more into that relationship, that's your whole reasoning for being there, is because you love putting everything you are and everything you want into that person, and all that's going to do is make them feel so loved that they just want to pour it back into you.
Right.
And that's how you get the reciprocated love.
Yeah.
That has to be your reasoning for being in a relationship. It can't be because they're hot. It can't be because you guys enjoy, the same TV shows or the same music or whatever. Those things are fantastic to have. Believe me. My girlfriend and I have, majority of our music taste lines up, and it's fucking awesome. Go to concerts together, create memories out of that. It's a good time. Comedy is lined up. Like we enjoy a lot of the same things, and that's awesome. But that isn't like our foundation for our relationship. And if it was, what happens when you get bored of those things and you want to go do other things, and suddenly you guys don't agree on what's fun and what isn't, or what food to get or whatever, right? You have to have that foundation that's permanent, not just superficial.
Right. And like, hold on, excuse me. With my last relationship, a lot of it actually started due to, like, we hung out a lot. And there was, don't get me wrong, like, there was a lot of times that we had hanging out with friends and going to Disneyland and just hanging out in general and introducing her to my family, all the normal shit you do. Well, actually, not even normal shit. It was like having a chick around and your whole family's like, you're going to date her. And I'm like, I'm really not. Like, I don't want to. Right. And I remember and her knowing and me constantly telling her, like, we're not going to date. Like, I don't want to date.
And that was because...
But we were having sex.
Yeah, but that wasn't because you were like, you're not worthy. It was like, I don't want a relationship where I'm at. And I'm enjoying my single life.
And that's where I think a lot of it was a fuck up on my end. Tilt the cup. So a lot of it was a fuck up on my end because, well, I'd say a lot of it being like the beginning part was due to the fact that we were friends. I said I didn't want a relationship. We were having sex during that time. And then eventually she was like, I can't do this anymore. And my only way to keep her...
It was like an ultimatum.
Yeah. And it wasn't just keep her around for the sex. Don't get me wrong. It was, she literally had told me, we can't have sex anymore. I said, okay, that's fine. But are we going to have to stop hanging out? She was like, well, yeah. And that's where I fucked up.
That sucks. Well, that sucks because like it's a double-edged sword in the sense of like you shouldn't be fucking somebody all the time that you can't be friends with.
No.
But at the same time, if you do that and they catch feelings, and especially you can't be friends.
We hung out a lot. I mean, a lot, like 2 or 3 times a week, a lot. Mm-hmm. And like with your friends, you don't need to be doing that much, but we did.
That's how much like you usually hang out with a girlfriend.
Right. And so she was around a lot. My whole family knew her. And it was just like, and she legitimately had become one of my best friends, like one of my closest friends. And I was like, so if we can't keep if we either have to be exclusive and eventually date, or I lose
one of my best friends
who I, at that point in my life, was only enjoying having sex with her. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, okay, so let's try it. We tried the whole like dating for a couple of weeks, and then eventually I asked her to be my girlfriend, and just having that foundation was just not a good idea. And so this all gets all the way back to the point of like regrets. To regret a full 15 months of my life would be absolutely fucking insane. Do I regret a lot of the things that were said on both sides? Yeah. But again, that leads me here, and it's so fucking, I'm so constantly torn on regrets. Like my tattoos, people are like, do you regret them? I'm like, no, but if I could move the placement, sure. Maybe if I could tweak this look, sure. But is that considered a regret? I mean, I'm not fully, but I'm not fully accepting it for what it is.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think a regret is like hard. I think a regret is like without a doubt I wish I had anything in my power to go back and change this. Like, it's something that eats away at you that you kind of define yourself with.
Yeah.
That's a regret. I think obviously, I think that's just a tweak. Yeah. I think like everybody looks back on their past or looks at their current state and correlates it to their past and goes, I could have done blank and it would have been perfect, right? If I had foresight, I would have been able to do this perfect. And that's all it is. It's you going back and looking at the little things that you were lacking that could have got you to perfection that you wish you could have changed. Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, that's kind of what, like, one, corny enough, builds character, but two, like, I've noticed when it comes to things in life, like doing everything 100% perfect, it kind of gets boring. Like, I compare it to, like, if you were to do everything right, have like unlimited like power or unlimited riches or unlimited like
it's fucking boring.
Everything. It's boring.
It's like playing Sims with all the cheat codes on.
You beat me to it. I was going to say, I compare it to like a video game and how if you hit that point in the video game where you have more money than there is stuff to do within the game, or you have more power than there is enemies to defeat in the game, it's boring. Yeah. It's suddenly so boring. Like I used to play, when I was in middle school, I used to play computer games, but I would play them on like those websites. So it'd be like armorgames.com or like fungames.com, right? And it's just a bunch of like little like games that like fucking like software design undergrads made and then put out to the public. Like just those fun little like mini games that weren't really like games. I used to play those and I fucking loved them, man. They were like the select few that you would go to and just like enjoy the fuck out of, right? But then you literally could go to like it was like cheatcodegames.com and you could type in the game that you loved playing and they had a hacked version. And so you could use that hacked version and you could get unlimited resources, unlimited abilities, unlimited wealth. Yeah. And you would sit there and just get this absolute fucking rush for like 15 minutes of just pure fucking like, this is amazing. There's nothing that can stop me. And then that fades and you're like, I'm so bored of this. There's nothing to do now.
And that's why, like, when people look at Kevin Hart or The Rock, they're like, why do you do so fucking much? Well, because if they stop, they're going to lose their fucking minds. They have nothing to do. They've done everything,
exactly.
Dude.
And so it's like the entire fun part about life, to bring it back, is the struggle, is the adversity, is the enemies that you have to defeat, the like dirt you have to crawl through to get the wealth that you want, all this stuff. And that's what makes it fun, is the fucking hardships that lead up to the reward. Yeah. If there's no struggle for the reward, then there's no like reward. Right. It's not a reward. And if it's just handed to you, it's not a reward.
It's like, that's why I mean, I keep diving back into it, but that's why, like, being as excited as I am all the time, being fucking happy, literally waking up and going, unless like I'm rushed for something, I wake up fucking just stoked. I'm like, cool, I'm alive. Like,
dude, that's how I am. Yeah. That's what I was trying to tell you when you were like in your like awful place. Yeah. I would literally try to stress it to you so much. I was like, listen, like, and I've told this actually to a friend recently. Because it feels like you're being, like you're boasting, but you're really not trying to. Oh. But you're like, I wake up every day fucking happy. I wake up super excited that I'm even alive. I wake up so grateful that I was born in the time and location that I was. Had I been born a few hundred years before or in a different country now, I would not nearly have as good of a life as I have now.
It's being aware of everything that you have, of your surroundings, and just being fucking thankful that you have it.
I used to whenever I heard people bitch about the AV, like in a totally like unprecedented way, I would sit there, and if I had enough time talking to them, right, I'd be like, listen, you were born in the most peaceful time humans have ever seen, with the most technology we have ever had, with the most abundance of wealth spread amongst the world that we've ever had, with the least amount of diseases, the least amount of starvation, the least amount of young death. On top of that, you were born in a first world country where we land top 2 in like the Olympics for gold medals every fucking time.
Right.
We
shout out Michael Phelps.
Yeah, we attract the greatest minds in the world. We don't repel them. People don't leave their country for better opportunity. They come to ours for better opportunity.
Yeah.
On top of that, you were born in one of the most interesting states out of all fucking 50 of them. Mm-hmm. You have one of the biggest states with the greatest like variety of landscape. You could go to forests, you could go to snowy mountains, you could go to beaches and valleys and all this shit. You have one of the best states in one of the best countries in one of the best times to live in. On top of that, you now live in Southern California, where all the stupid, awesome, exciting shit happens, where all the celebrities are. If you live out here and you have lived out here for longer than, I don't know, fucking 5 to 10 years, you have run into a celebrity before. Without even trying. You go to Six Flags, you go to LA, you go to some restaurant. Oh shit, there's so-and-so who I see on TV all the fucking time. You run into celebrities pretty fucking often when you go into LA out here. Then on top of that,
Jesus,
you live in a area in Southern California that's cheaper to live in than the majority of Southern California. You don't have to pay hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars compared to what other people do. Like other people spend millions of dollars to live, just to live, just to fucking live. And you don't. You spend a fraction of what they pay and only have to drive 40 minutes to an hour to live the same life that they live. Right. It's a fucking great ass spot to be in. So quit bitching, because you could have been in Nebraska. You could have been in you could have been in the 1600s and been left-handed and then burned at the stake. Yep. You could have been born as a slave to some empire like the Romans just because you weren't a fucking Roman. Like you could have had so much worse shit. But no, you're born in the best time in one of the best countries and one of the best states of the best countries and one of the best half of the best states of the best country. Like, suck a dick, bro.
Yeah, but Caleb, my phone charger doesn't reach my bed.
And so it's like people can get the fuck over the fact that we live in a desert or that we live in a place that, you know, doesn't have a theme park. Yeah. Like, bro.
And not to like, obviously I'm not fucking bringing this next point up. Like, obviously we know that we're very aware of problems that exist in the world. Mm-hmm. We're very aware that our own problems are still problems. We're not like writing them off, but it's like all you have to do is think very basically. One, you woke up today, right?
Yep.
Whether you're religious or not, whatever the case is, you woke up. You were asleep. Could have died in your sleep. Could have fucking been shot, stabbed, had a heart attack, had an aneurysm. You didn't. You survived sleeping. Sleeping's a really weird thing. So you're awake. How do you want your day to go? Do you want to just be miserable? Do you want to get out of bed and go, fuck, now I gotta go to work, and now I gotta work this job I don't want to work, and then go home and do things I don't want to do? And you can say it all in a negative fucking way, or you can wake up and be like, I'm alive, right? I'm gonna go like brush my teeth, get ready, take a shower, do all the stuff you gotta do, eat your breakfast. And although, this isn't the job that you want to work, you can set goals.
It doesn't have to be the job that you always work.
It's just a step on the path, not the whole path.
Not a treadmill.
No, it's not. You're not stuck in one place. You're not that one where you're at now. Isn't your never ending fucking path?
Isn't the end all be all?
No, and so like you can all you have to do is change your perspective. Like you go to work, right, and you make the money. Maybe you're not making enough money, and you want to make more. So start setting goals. Get excited. Use the money that you're making, if you can save any,
and invest it in ways to make more money.
Right.
And this is the thing. Like, I love that because, you know, you brought up like, okay, you wake up, you're going to go to the job you don't like. You're going to go do things you don't want to do. You go home, do the things you don't want to do again. Stuff like that.
Go to sleep early. Wake up early.
All that stuff takes effort, right? Takes willpower, takes effort. It's tiresome. But regardless, you're going to have to exert that effort, whether you want to or not.
Right.
People don't think about this on a day-to-day life that you can take a step back and you can exert that same effort that you're putting into shit you don't want to do into your attitude, into your mood,
right,
into your overall like worldview. You can take that effort into helping yourself be more positive, helping yourself be more optimistic, counting your blessings where they're at. And when you do that, it puts you in that position to get excited over a random dog that comes to you, to get teary-eyed at the same vows that you hear all the time, to get super fucking stoked about finding a quarter on the ground or getting a sundae from a little girl. Like shit like that, man.
I frown because she's so cute.
Like shit like that. Like you have every opportunity to see the negative in that. You could pet the dog and be like, oh, that dog was covered in like weird shit and now my hand's weird. Or like, oh, like that little girl put nuts in my sundae and I don't like nuts in my sundae, or like whatever. You get the option to bitch about shit or, become super stoked about shit.
Right.
And the crazy thing is people don't think about the fact that like you're not set in stone with who you are when it comes to that negative shit. You can literally take a step back and force yourself to start looking at things in a new light. It's not going to work the first time, and people give up as soon as they try. They're like, oh, this is bullshit. But like, it's the little wins that stack up. Then you start getting totally huge strides when it comes to your overall outlook on life.
Right. And I was doing something on the computer, so I don't know if you exactly hit the main point that I'm going to be bringing up, but you can it is taking the energy that you were putting into being negative and turn it around and be positive.
Yeah.
It's 'cause not hard to do that.
Well, I would say it's hard to be positive, but it's not hard to try.
Okay, that's fair. So let me actually...
Because it is really hard, and that's why people don't do it.
I want to retract that statement because I actually always talk about how things are hard, but they're worth doing, right? And I was looking up on the computer that whole saying of like, it takes 43 muscles to frown, only 17 to smile.
Oh yeah,
but
I remember that.
I think what I just read was that it's an urban myth. Point
Probably.
Being from that saying is that it actually takes more work to be negative than it does to be positive. And
I would say it takes more out of you because like once you're used to being negative, it's easy to be negative.
Yeah,
it's
and
super
that's
easy.
what we were talking about that last episode with how I brought up Kevin Hart on the Joe Rogan podcast where he was talking about
hit a lot of the same points.
Yeah, all the fucking this shit sucks. This shit's boring. It's like, or you can be like, I don't know, dude. Like, if I didn't like a movie, I'd just be like, it's just not my taste. Like,
but you can still find shit you enjoyed in it.
It wasn't wasteful. I didn't waste money, and now I learned what that movie was that everybody was talking about, and just
see, like,
it's not hard. When I say it's not hard, the reason why I say
it's not hard after you've already mastered it, but you have to realize that once you start trying, once you put in that effort, and once you get there, then it's not hard.
But the thing that what I'm getting at when I say it's not hard, it's like, this is one thing I will say is not hard. To wake up in the morning and be like, okay, I got to go to work. Versus like, fuck, I don't want to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not hard. It's literally not hard. Because that's almost like a neutral statement to just, okay, let's say that it isn't just fucking negative and positive, right? Because those are they're opposites, completely different sides of the spectrum. There's stuff in the middle. So go for neutral, right? You don't have to be like, the negative. Well,
yeah, you don't have to automatically jump to like over ecstatic, you don't have to be
giddy. Like, oh fuck, I gotta go to work to like, yippee! I'm excited to go to work.
Exactly.
You could just be like, okay, I have to do what I have to do.
Let's grind it out. Let's do it.
I signed a contract. I work for this company. Like,
let's go.
Eventually, and then you say the positive things behind it. I eventually want to go somewhere else. I eventually want to start setting these goals.
Yeah, this money I'm saving up will get me to this.
Eventually will turn into, now I have deadlines on what I want to do and time frames and all these other fucking things, dude. It's like, the reason why I say it's not hard is yes, because I'm already in that mindset. However, I do recognize that everything else is hard to get to different places. Dude, I went through, and this is something that Caleb and I agreed that eventually we'll talk about, is I do want to eventually go over that 2 or 3 month time span where it was just like all the shit that I went through, and not to be like, because I'm way past it, and it's not the pity me.
It's not a woe is me thing.
Using my shit as an example to go and be where I'm at now. And it's not like I'm this fucking poster child for transformation. It's just like, I can be used as an example. Fuck, I lost
Well
my...
said. That was well said. I like that.
Yeah. I just... what I'm saying is, with the whole... Yeah, okay. It's hard to get where I got. It was a lot of fucking work. It's been 6 months.
Effort.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been 6 months, I think, right? 6 months since my breakup. And all the shit really started falling apart 8 months or 9 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So 9 months of carving. I mean, dude.
Well, I wouldn't say 9 months because like you've been like this for a couple months.
Huh? The
Like,
happy part? Okay,
yeah.
so yeah. So like, but I'm talking
half a
like,
year.
I feel like more recently in the past 2 weeks, I've hit my peak. And when I say peak, okay,
a new high.
Hold on.
You've broke your record.
My new high. Yeah, let me take that back because I feel like
your ceiling because you're not going down from here.
No. When I say peak, yeah, let me take that back because I don't feel like it's a peak. I feel
I've
like
peaked. I hope you're ready for the downfall.
No, because I think once it depends on how you want to run your life. Like I feel like if you decide you've hit a peak, right, that you can kind of plateau at that peak. And then it just kind of, there's just like a small roller coaster bumps of things that happen. But I don't think I've peaked. I feel like I'm just going to constantly expand and grow. And
new record.
It's a new high. So I'm at a new high in the past 2 weeks. I feel like I've just kind of hit this new point and that it's going to constantly go up. But yes, in like the past 2 months was when I kind of hit that. I'm out of my negative space now. Now I'm in this positive space.
Mm-hmm.
And it took fucking work. It took... Dude, I kind of briefly touched on it. There was a point where I was crying fucking 5 or 6 days a week. There was points where I was thinking, maybe I need medication. I need a therapist. I don't know what I want to do. I can't fucking take photos to save my life. I don't know what to do with video. My YouTube's falling. Just all these fucking negative things. It was like, dude, I could literally go over every way that I used to think. I wasn't posting on Instagram. I wasn't posting on YouTube. I was making stories that really weren't, it was just kind of like a facade. I was hanging out with friends, but inside it just fucking felt like I was falling apart. I couldn't be alone most of the time. Like I had to go and be around people and just fucking sit there and be in the noise so that I wasn't
crumble.
Or I would crumble. I'd be home fucking crying, freaking out, having panic attacks. I would constantly have to talk to my friends and tell them how sorry I was at the fact that like, I'm sorry, but all this negative shit's going to come out of me and I have to talk about the stuff that we've already talked about 7 times this fucking week.
I'm sorry, I'm annoying.
It just kept going. There was so much shit. And every goddamn day I woke up, I thought to myself, you're going to get better. It's going to slowly get there. And that has a lot to do with like, go ahead.
I was going to say, that's a point I wanted to bring up actually like probably half an hour ago. Like, it's the whole light at the end of the tunnel thing, right?
Right.
You always tell people like, oh, you're going through it, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel. No one ever talks about when they're actually at that light, when they're actually in that space. That's the light at the end of the tunnel.
Bitch, I hit it.
No. But that's what I'm saying is people like, oh, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And that's where that conversation ends. But you never like, once you break out of that like negative space, you never talk about like, oh shit, hey, I'm at that light at the end of the tunnel.
So let me be the fucking poster child for that. I'm at a point where if I were to talk about where I was then and seeing that fucking pinhole, that bitch was miles away. Mm. And all I saw with my little flashlight through that fucking was just obstacle after obstacle and fucking just nasty shit the whole way through and having to carve out my mindset. Now I'm at this point where when I talk about the fucking happiness that I've hit now that I got to that light, I could probably, like, if I really got in depth with it right now, I could probably start fucking tearing up because I'm just happy.
It turns that pinhole light at the end of the tunnel and it reverses it, and you're surrounded by so much light that the tunnel that you were in is now the pinhole.
And the best part about that end of the tunnel shit is when you get there, all that's waiting there is all your friends, your work, everything is reflecting.
It's purpose, fulfillment, enjoyment, optimism,
and
happiness.
All reflecting right back at you like mirrors. Because when you hit that light and you can show people that you're in that better place, they reflect that shit right back. I was in that really dark place and I could tell my friends didn't want to be around me as much. And that was fine. I understood, dude. Like, you can only be around a negative person so much before eventually it starts to play a huge toll on you.
Well, there are times where you want to help, and there are other times where you don't feel like you're in the mood to sit down and help somebody. Like you're like, I'm kind of tired. I've gone through a long day. I just want to have some me time. I just want to relax, or I just want to like be stupid and have fun.
Yeah.
And you're not in the mode to sit down and be like someone's therapist.
Yeah.
So you just want to be like, I'm sorry you're going through that, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, there are other times where you're like, let's talk about it. Open up, please. I'm here.
Yeah.
And there are other times where you're like, not today.
I was actually, okay, so I was going to tweet about this months ago, and I was just like, yeah, fuck it. It's going to start, someone's going to fucking bitch and complain, and I don't want to deal with their goddamn attitude.
Twitter.
So, also, if I can fucking give out any information to anybody on Twitter, really think about the shit you tweet for a second before you go and tweet it. Like, really just kind of give it a thought, because, like, if you want to tweet something knowing that eventually someone's going to come at you wrong, don't fucking tweet it. It's really not worth it. Twitter's not worth it. Like, there's no point to anyway, that was just a tangent. I just think about that sometimes. But I was going to tweet, if someone doesn't have the mental capacity at the time to give you the time of day that you are asking for, that does not make that person a bad person. It doesn't make them a piece of shit. Like, if you're asking for help and that person says, I'm sorry, but I can't help you right now, it's not because maybe they're going through their own shit. Maybe they can't deal with it right now. But this whole thing, I've seen it happen a few times, and I've actually had to talk people through it and actually give them the other side of it. Of just like, yeah, I tried to talk to so-and-so, and like they shut me down, and I just wasn't, I was in a place where I needed help and they weren't there for me. Hey, you ever thought about the fact that maybe they needed help too, and they just didn't have the energy to give to you?
Like, everyone isn't there to wait on you hand and foot. Like you also have to realize that they're their own individual person, and like, you can't just be like, now I need help.
Right.
You better be there.
Right.
And it's like, there are times that are convenient for you, and then there are times that are convenient for them, and you have to match those up. You can't just be like, it's convenient for me, and if it's not for you, you're a bad fucking friend.
Yeah.
And I think you could have tweeted that, and I don't think it would have caused any. I don't think it would have stirred up any problems. And if it did, ignore them.
Well, right, you can ignore them, but I don't know. I just
one thing that like it's kind of been like a point I wanted to hit during this topic is when we talk about effort and we talk about like how to really exert willpower when it comes to bettering yourself. I always, when I'm telling my friends this stuff, I always make sure to use the words conscious effort, because there's a difference between effort and conscious effort.
Define it.
When you are putting effort into something, you're constantly putting effort into something, no matter what you're doing. Like if we're sitting here talking, it takes effort to talk. It takes effort to pick up a cup and drink it. Like, even if it's minimal effort, it's still there. But when you're taking conscious effort, you literally are almost talking to yourself as a different person.
Right.
Like how you were in the car, I think, and you said something negative and you were like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
That's conscious effort.
Right.
It's where you are taking a step back and actually noticing that you are going to try to do something different, rather than just being like, oh, like, I shouldn't do this. Let's do it the other way. Come on, do it the other way. And then you don't.
Yeah.
You weren't consciously trying. You were just like, I should put effort into this, but I'm just going to go with, what my muscle memory, emotional reaction is to a bad thing in life. But conscious effort is where you actually make progress. You can't just be like, oh, I've been trying, but nothing's changing. Then you're not trying.
I mean, to give an example, and it's a fucking ridiculous example, like biting your nails, right?
Yeah.
I have that habit. Actually, wow, that was an interesting. These things that Caleb was just talking about, conscious efforts. You have to know that. Okay.
There's a difference between biting your nails and being like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this.
Like what I was going to say when I stopped, the reason why is my brain fucking just like went in 6 different directions. It was like, shit. Okay. One of them was, why did I start talking to you in third person? So biting your nails is a habit. bad thoughts are a habit.
Yeah,
they're habits
exactly.
that you have to
That's
break.
a good point.
Thank
Pessimism
you.
is a habit.
That's why when I stopped for a second, I was like, fuck, 6 different ways I could say this.
Yeah.
So biting your nails, I have had, I don't know, comes in and out depending on my nerves at the time, have a bad tendency of biting my nails.
Yeah.
Back then when I was a kid, I'd fucking rip them off until they bled, and it was really terrible. And then I started clipping them down to the bare minimum where like I can't like, you know, pick at my thumb or anything. Like they're almost just not nubs. Like when I say nubs, I'm not talking like literally the smallest nail.
No.
But they meet right with the bend of the skin.
You do it so you can't bite. There's nothing to bite.
Right. So, oh, my stomach just made a fucking weird ass feel. Anyway, sorry, that just caught me so off guard. Biting your nails, habit, right? So then I started clipping them and then filing them to make them smooth so that there's no hooks because I feel it with my thumb.
And
right?
then you go for
and
it.
then I go for it.
Oh, look at that little morsel.
Fucking rip that shit off, right? And now I keep nail clippers on me. Oh, this is like a perfect.
No way.
Oh yeah, they were on my keychain for a little while, and then the thing broke off. I've been trying to buy a new pair, but I keep a pair in my car. There's a pair in my room and a pair in the bathroom.
Damn, that's smart.
Yeah,
I've never thought of that.
Now think about
That's
that.
very metrosexual of you.
Jesus Christ!
Full fucking circle.
Happy Easter, Jesus Christ. Why I like that whole. What I'm getting to is like using that as an analogy or metaphor, whichever the fuck it is. I can't think right now. Is I keep things that are preventative on me. Meaning, like in my bad habit, when I start to put my fucking finger near my mouth to bite my nail, I'll grab the nail clipper, cut it off. Won't happen anymore. Mm-hmm. So when I start to have the bad negative thoughts, I have that conscious effort as a tool to attack that bad habit that I have.
Exactly.
And once you develop that within yourself, it is a readily available tool that you always have.
Yeah.
And I'm no fucking philosopher, but I really like the way that I connected those things.
That hits the nail on the head. And like it as creatures of habit, right? That's what we always call human beings, creatures of habit.
Yeah. And patterns and so on.
Yeah. We create habits and patterns because they make us comfortable. Mm-hmm. And so I always teach my kids this. It's very easy to represent this with baseball. When I'm teaching a kid how to pitch and say they've developed a bad habit of throwing the ball wrong, I will tell them that they have to do it, this way, because this is the correct way. And then they do it and they're like, it feels weird. It feels like I'm doing it wrong. And I'm like, that's how you know you're doing something right. Because if it didn't feel any different, you didn't do anything different. And so in order for you to change your habit, it cannot feel like it can't feel normal. Yeah. Because if it feels normal, then you're still doing the same shit you've been doing all the time. It has to be out of your comfort zone. It has to be something that makes you feel uncomfortable. Yeah. And so if you're negative about shit all the time, if you were to just be like, you know what, today I'm going to have a good day. If that felt comfortable, then you would have done it all the time. But if you're a negative person and then you're like, I'm going to have a good day today, and you felt weird saying it, like it just feels uncomfortable, it comes out wrong because that's because your habit and your comfort zone is in pessimism. Yeah. And only are you going to break that habit by doing something that doesn't feel normal. It doesn't feel like what you're used to. And so that's where conscious effort comes in. You have to force yourself to do the uncomfortable thing to get yourself out of that constant cycle of doing the habit that you want to break. Yeah. If you don't use conscious effort to get yourself out of that comfortable habit, then you're never going to break it. It has to feel uncomfortable. You have to get out of your comfort zone, or else nothing's going to fucking change. Right. And so people do it and it makes them uncomfortable, and the uncomfortability makes them go back into their comfort zone and makes them fall back into a relapse of their bad habit. Right. You have to do that shit and it has to feel weird. That's a whole fucking point of the progress is the more you do that shit, the less uncomfortable it feels. And when it starts feeling more comfortable, guess what, bitch? That's a fucking habit. You've just made a good habit. You've just created a better habit for yourself.
One of the guests that I want to have on here has a a really cool saying. His name's Ryan. You've met him. Alex and Ryan.
Oh yeah,
right.
Okay.
I forget what it is, but it's like 4 steps into basically like you develop something, it becomes a habit. I'm butchering the fuck out of it, but habits become this becomes that becomes a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And there's like steps in between. He lives by that shit.
It's if it's what I think it is, then it's solid.
Yeah.
And it's, what you want to go for.
Yeah. And so I mean, we're eventually going to have him on, but like when he talked to me about that, it was like I said, in summary, it was taking something, applying it to yourself and reapplying it over and over until it becomes part of who you are.
Exactly.
And like that's exactly what I did with, like I said, the nail cutting thing, and then with the fucking talking to myself kindly, that whole thing. It's a lot of practice. Like obviously, feel like you just said, shit feels weird in the first part, but then you get used to it, and now that's part of your personality.
Think about it this way.
I literally just fucking repeated what you said.
No, you reinstated it in a different fashion, and I totally like that. Think about it this way. You have your habit that you don't like and you want to change. And then you do something different outside of that habit, outside of that comfort zone, and it feels weird. Each time you do that again, it feels a little less weird, right? You get a little more comfortable. And each time it's a little more comfortable, think of you that's one more step closer to that good habit that you're going to form.
Right.
And so think of it this way. Picture a glass and it's filled with this black liquid. This glass can only hold a certain amount of liquid. And so each time you do something that makes you feel uncomfortable, and let's say that conscious effort that you're putting in to get yourself there, that's a good habit that you want to form rather than a bad one. Each time you do that, a little bit of that black liquid is replaced with gold liquid, let's say. And each time it gets more and more comfortable, that is more and more black liquid representing the bad habit, leaving that glass and being replaced with gold liquid until the whole thing is filled with gold liquid and you have completely replaced your bad habit with a good one.
And then you take the next glass of black liquid.
Yeah, and then you go to the next one that's a bad habit.
You just keep fucking
and
going.
You keep attacking them. And that's the thing, though. It's really hard to do this shit. It is. It's fucking hard. Yep. Especially when you don't have people in your life that are going to encourage you to do that.
And that was a point that I was going to bring up with, and we've brought this up multiple times, but it just needs to be stressed. Like, we had a really good day today because of what we were doing combined with the people we were surrounded with.
The people we were doing it with.
Right. Because very easily could we have gone with any other random group of people and had a miserable time.
Well, it's funny. We could have had that same exact location with the same music playing, with the same activities lined up and the same food made, but different people and had a shit day.
Yeah. It's like, okay, for example, you were whooping our fucking asses at ping pong. Right, just handing it to us. And then you fucking tell me later on, like, oh, I was playing with my non-dominant hand. And I was like, you are a fucking sack of shit. Because I was like, all right, 16 to 25 isn't too bad for somebody who doesn't play ping pong regularly at all or doesn't even like know how to play that well. And then you're like, yeah, I just want to let you know, like, it was my left hand. I'm like, hey, dude, happy fucking Easter, you sack of shit. Like, fuck. And I was just like, I could have very easy. No, I'm just kidding. I was going to say, like, we were having such a good time. And even though we were getting our fucking asses handed to us time and time again, like even Danny was like, when you were like, no, come give me a hug, she started fucking running away. Me, Joel, and your grandma, we're all just laughing at that. It was a good, like,
yeah,
it's a good time.
Because
like,
nobody took a game, anything. Yeah, man. No one took it to heart. Yeah.
Right. But it could have very easily been. So,
oh, yeah, it could have gone bad.
That just stresses the point of just like, on the way there, we're singing songs. The whole time that we're there, we're making stupid jokes. You were making the worst fucking jokes today.
Oh, it's Easter.
It was terrible.
It's Easter Sunday, baby. I gotta whip my cornball jokes out.
It was bad. Or worse than dad jokes.
Don't worry, Nick. You came around with some bad ones too.
That's fine. Not as many.
You made me feel so much better.
I fucking hate you. So all of that, still like laughing about it now, right? Having a good time, telling each other, go fuck yourself, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there are people that don't have those kind of people around them.
There are people that don't have anyone, and then there are people who have people who are fucking awful.
Which you're probably better off having no one.
Just want to let you know, you listening who are surrounded by shit people, lonely Todd on Twitter who's complaining about it all the time is better off than you are.
Right. So, surrounding yourself with the proper people, especially not only just people who can have a good time, because there are the people like there are
the people who you can party with, and those people are fun. But
right. Well, not even just party with. Like I could go as far as saying, and like there's a plethora of different, personality types, and there are some that just work for some people. Like they're happy being around people that just want to talk shit about others all the time.
Yeah.
Hey man, cool. If that's what gets you off,
thrive on, you little fucking cretin.
Fucking different strokes for different folks. But like the thing is, to be around people that you can have a good time with, that can not only keep you grounded and tell you when you're fucking up, but can also encourage you to do better.
Yeah.
There's that. It's like a fucking trinity, dude. Like,
and that's the thing. Like I know people always stress it, whether it be like regular Joes like us, or whether it be like those stupid fucking business coaches online that are like, I need to help you improve your life. You're living miserable and you know it, and I'm living great and I can tell you how to be like me. Like, first of all, get rid of the shitty friends in your life. Like, that's the first step you need to take, is surround yourself with better people.
If you want to know the next 2 to 3 steps, pay me $9.99 a month.
If you want to know the next steps, you have to buy my program on my website.
Is a piece of fucking shit.
But
no, he's just a really smart businessman, actually.
He just takes advantage of a system that's fucking
He just
low,
takes advantage of
whatever.
the weak.
But like,
anybody listening that's ever bought this, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry you were dumb enough to buy that shit.
Oh
no. But yeah, like, as corny as that shit is and as overplayed as it is, like, it's so fucking true. It's like, if those people in your life bring you around because you're ahead to step on to make them feel better, and deep down you know it, you don't have to go off on them and be like, oh, you treat me like shit, you're a fucking asshole, I'm out of here. You can just fucking slowly taper off.
I love your fucking stupid movements when you do this shit.
You could just slowly taper yourself off from them. You don't have to talk to them every now and then. Instead of hanging out with them every weekend, hang out with them every other weekend, and then every 3 weekends, and then once a month, and once every other month. The next thing you know, you're not even talking to them. They're not even a number in Dunbar's number anymore.
My favorite. Look at you. You remember
bringing
the
it
name.
Back, bitch.
You remember the name. One of the things that I've actually talked to a lot of people about is like, when I'm like, just cut the people out that you don't want around. They're like, it's not that easy. I'm like, you're right.
It doesn't have to be abrupt.
No, it doesn't. But then I hear the whole like, but then they're going to start asking where I'm going. I'm like, you don't have to answer to shit.
Yeah,
dude.
you don't. And this is the thing. You can reply to them.
Yeah.
But you don't have to give them answers, because there's a difference.
Yeah. Like, where you been? Busy?
Yeah. Oh, and you don't even have to, like, you can even pull the whole white lie shit where you're not even telling the full truth. You can just be like, I got work and I got family, and that's about all you need to know.
Yeah. Like, dude, it's as easy as, if you need a break from somebody or a group of people, or just need a break, just to be alone, and you tell those people, I'm just, I need
taking some me time.
I need some me time. And they mock that. Guess what?
You're around shitty people.
Yeah, cut them the fuck out. Like, those people should support. Like,
if we were to tell any of our friends that, we were to be like, hey guys, I'm gonna kind of go off the grid. Like, I'm going through some shit. I just need some me time to like just like recharge. They would be like, hey man, like, I'm sorry to hear that. If you ever need anything, I'm right here.
Yep.
Like, I won't force anything, but I hope you get better.
A beautiful group of friends, because we can literally have somebody in the group text, which is like 11 of us, be like, hey, I'm going to remove myself from this. I just need a break. I love you guys. Nothing serious. Just need some me time. We'd be like,
back
hey,
in later.
Let us know when you want to be added back in. Like,
yeah,
that is what people need. And when people are wondering why, like, dude, you can be a genuinely happy person who can function regularly like me, right? Genuinely happy, go about my day normally, be surrounded by shit people, and guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to become that.
Yeah.
Because you are the summary of the 5 closest people to you, and that is one of my favorite fucking things
and
I
that's
ever
the thing.
learned.
I've heard so many different numbers where it's 4, 5, 8,
I heard
12,
5.
whatever. Like I've heard a bunch of different
But you
ones,
are the sum of
the closest people around
yes.
you. And like this is the thing too that I've noticed. Like we're preaching like, oh, like go find those good people, stick yourself to them, blah, blah, blah. You kind of have to be a good person yourself. That's kind of like the step 0 rather than step 1.
My favorite thing, how I said Chris D'Elia summarizes things, which I fucking butchered one of his things when I said that. He says what's his name? 6ix9ine?
Yeah.
What's his first name?
Tekashi.
He says Tenkanchi. Like he'll come up with a bunch of different shit, but then you can get back to your point. He says, you gotta be a good purse.
Yeah, exactly. And so like step 1, find some good people, and step 2, like surround yourself with them. But step 0, be a good person yourself.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. You could be finding the greatest fucking people to walk this earth, but if you're a piece of shit, they're not going to be around you. They're not going to spend time with you.
No.
And so you have to work on yourself first, put in that conscious effort to be more positive, be a better person, be more loving, accepting, caring, understanding, and fun.
Yeah.
And then once you feel like you're at that place, you've kind of like you aren't avoiding your demons. You're fucking tackling them head on, right? You've conquered a good chunk of them.
Yeah.
Then are you in the position to like, sure, like you could probably be a fucked up person, and there are really loving, understanding people that are awesome. That'll take you under their wing and help you turn into a better person. But chances are that's not the case. You're going to run into people, and I'll try to give some advice. If you've ran into people and you're like, these people are fucking awesome, I want to be around them all the time, and then you're constantly trying to hang out with them and they keep avoiding you, it's probably because they don't like the kind of person you currently are. And that's hard to swallow. And it's fucked. It sucks, man. But that should be incentive for you to go like really, really honestly, unbiasedly look at yourself, find the parts of you that are the parts of you that you don't like, and actually change them. Yeah. Because if those things are gone, those great, genuine, awesome people are going to want to be around you, right? Yeah. The whole like you attract what you are type shit. Yeah. If you aren't a great, awesome, positive, loving person and you're around those people, it's not a surprise that you're not going to attract them, right? You're going to want to be around them because you see what they are and you're like, oh, that's great. I want that. But if you aren't that, you're not going to attract them.
And one thing that I've actually had said to me was somebody, I'm not just going to out the person, but somebody had said, like, I'm at a certain age, it's hard to meet people. Like, it's hard to meet new people. And it made me sad because I was like, you know what, that is true to a certain extent.
Well, yeah, because I mean, with school, it was like the perfect fucking conveyor belt of people you could just sift through.
And now that they're older and they have all these things in their life, responsibilities and family and all that other shit. At the time, I didn't have any like advice. And now when I think about it, it's like, use the people that you do have, right? Or not use them, but like take advantage of the friendships you have. Yeah. And like use that to meet others, right? Even if it's like these 3 normal friends are going to introduce me to one of their friends. That could be the best fucking friendship you ever find. That could be
the only person you need to just be opened up to a whole world of amazing
like I
people.
got really lucky with Tub, and Tub got really lucky with me. Because pull it right back and be like, I'm going to compliment but we got really lucky meeting each other because we always kind of knew who each other were. Like for some fucking reason in high school, my brother and I were really well known. Just, you know, part of like a more popular end and not like a popular like piece of shit school movie popular, but just well known. And I knew who Caleb was just because Caleb was well known in his grade. And so I ended up being the teacher's assistant in his chemistry class. I believe it was Martin. Mm-hmm. Yes. And it just so happened that the class that I was TAing for got dropped. I don't know if I ever told you this. I was actually TAing for a geometry class, and it got dropped, moved to a different period. So I had to find someone else, and I was like, fuck it, I'll just go to Martin. And I went in there and became his TA, and you were sitting there, and somewhere along the lines within the first couple of weeks, maybe within the first day, we just kind of knew who each other were, and we told everybody that we were brothers. Because we looked pretty similar in high school. Because you've actually, as everybody does, I just don't think I developed that much like facially, but your face has changed a lot since high school.
Yeah, I had kind of like the whole like
more squinty, like
cheeky boy next door kind of look.
You literally like that. Now you're like developing more into
I'm a man.
Now you're a man. And like before, I had just this fucking like I had a man's face at like
you were still you were chiseled.
Yeah, I had to grow up fast. So I think my face. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, the point being is that we convinced everybody that we were brothers, and from that point forward, we just kind of were like, that was cool. Like we had that like dynamic, and then we didn't really hang out for like a year or two after. Were you out of high school when we first started hanging out?
I think so.
Yeah.
Cause like,
I know I was out.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I was pretty much graduated. Cause like Rachel was kind of like the third part to us, like the Three Musketeers.
I love Rachel so much.
You guys will meet Rachel.
She's into Ukraine.
Yeah. She's living in Ukraine. She's doing Peace Corps. Yeah. And
what
like
a fucking wonderful human being.
Oh my God. She is amazing. And she's such an asshole to us. And I fucking love it.
I don't give a fucking shit. She's going to be on multiple episodes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because just us three, it's going to be...
Us three together, the dynamic's unmatched.
And it's so fucked up because I am the center of all the goddamn jokes.
Oh, no. We tear you to ribbons.
To shreds. So most of the time, you'll just hear me laughing and going, I hate you. So,
but not as much as I hate me.
It's like I start falling apart again when she comes home.
But no, like... I didn't start hanging with Rachel during high school.
Right.
Like she managed the base. She was one of the baseball team managers.
Yeah.
So I got to see her then, but like we didn't like hang out until after I graduated.
And this is all leading up to a grand point, but I do have a question. Do you remember what we said the first time was that we all three of us hung out? It wasn't a night that we got drunk and fucking painted with paintbrushes in our mouths, which was one of my favorite moments.
I drew a giraffe.
I drew what I thought was an elephant. And then we were all really drunk. It was great. No,
it was when was it the hike? Was the hike like the big kickoff?
Yeah, the hike was kind of the kickoff. And what this was all leading to was that was high school. And that's why I said I got lucky with the fact that we kind of just hit it off in high school. And then we just continued to be friends. Then Rachel, and like because of that close trinity, like us being the Holy Trinity. I love it so much. Anyway, with us three being that close, then you and I got much closer just as days went. And then like she started getting busy and then she ended up moving. And then now here we are, right?
Yeah. Empty.
Without you, Rachel. Shout out to you if you're listening. Love you. So what I was getting at was that it is hard to meet people, but you can use friends that you already have to meet more people, and if not, use family members. And if you don't have that, fucking dude, like there's nobody that I know of that's completely fucking alone. And if you are 100% alone, no coworkers for some reason, and you're listening to this and you want friends, go.
Good luck.
No, I'm just kidding. My god, go. Fucking no, I'm just kidding. It's like, dude, you can go to like not just bars. I say bars, but like there are random community meetups.
That's what I was gonna say. It's like it depends on the community that you surround yourself with. So, for instance, like I got a lot of friends from when I ran 1 year of cross country, and was not planning on running cross country. Kind of got thrown into that shit. I can tell that story another time. But ran cross country. That's a whole community of runners, and like. That shit is fucking great. Like it was a bunch of good people that I had no idea about because that was their bread and butter.
Yeah.
Like cross country for me was a little side thing that I was doing to get conditioned for baseball, but this was their bread and butter. So when they had like free time, it was spent doing cross country. So if we didn't have classes together, if we didn't live together or didn't go to the same like church or something, then I would never, ever interact with these people. And if I just dabbled in the thing that they totally revolved their life around, I now met them, interacted with them, grew bonds with them, became friends with them. And it was all through picking up something that I never thought I'd get into. And one, loved it. I thought I was going to hate cross country. And you realize very quickly that you're going to be running regardless. So you might as well fucking like it. And it was a great ass time. Loved the people that I had a year with. They were all great. And I never would have grown those bonds had I not done that. I used to play this total geeky Star Wars mobile app game.
Used to?
Right? I stopped a while ago.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I thought you were playing it in the car today.
No. I was playing a baseball game. But I used to play a Star Wars game all the time. I had this little thing called a guild or like a group or a clan or whatever.
Don't play it off. This shit's cool.
And, because guild isn't a very commonly used word. But I had my guild of 50 people, and we were people from all over the country, like different fucking states, different fucking countries for some of them. And we like did our little raids together. We like used teamwork to, beat challenges and stuff. And like I, for the longest time, had like actual friendships with these dudes. Yeah. They were all like talking about their like ex-wives and their kids and shit and everything. And I'm like, I'm 20. But it was a good ass time. And so you have to throw yourself into an activity that you enjoy that has a community of people that live their lives through it. Yeah. And you will find people that are looking for friends.
Dude, I literally met a chick through Twitter. Lives all the way in fucking Chicago.
I was about to say that. I was going to say Twitter is a great place to make friends. Even if it's such a fucking shithole, it is still a good place to make friends. A lot of my friends I made through Twitter. Yeah. A lot of them where I was like, you seem fucking dope. We both complain about the same shit on here. Yeah. Why not complain about it in person?
Right. And so like the thing is like you can reach out. You don't even have to directly reach out. Just follow random fucking people, dude, and you'll find a general interest.
That dude that I always talk about, Hank Moody, yes, Zach.
The fourth, which is going to be on his fucking fifth with the way he's tweeting right now.
Dude, he gets suspended every other week. But I was on one of those random long ass like lines you get on Twitter where you click on someone's profile, scroll through their tweets, click on someone else's, and scroll through their tweets, click on someone else's, right? Don't know how. Stumbled across his account. He had this thread of opinions, and it was actually unpopular opinions, like shit that nobody fucking thinks. And like I was scrolling through it, and I was like, holy shit, this dude's like on the same wavelength as me. Like there's a lot of stuff he says on here where I was like, fuck yes, like I agree with this. This is good shit. I like where this guy's thinking. I like where his head's at. Without even like we never have interacted, didn't follow each other, never anything. DM'd him because his DMs were open, and I was like, I don't know you, you don't know me, but you seem really fucking cool, and we should be friends.
You literally said that?
That's how it started.
That's fucking cool.
And he was like, hell yeah, man. Like, that's dope. Like, and I was like, I came across this thread. I agree with this. I agree with this. And it brought up talking points, right? We started DMing, just being buddies, followed each other. And now I'm going to actually pull up my phone because I want to see, because I think it's fucking great.
So,
but that's how we became friends. I literally ran across his account, messaged him, was like, dude, you're fucking cool. Like, we should be buddies. And now I shared 10 followers with him.
Wow.
Yeah.
No shit.
A ton of people that I had, the people that I were friends with or that followed me through social media, see how often I would retweet him or interact with him. They would interact with him, and now he's friends with a chunk of people that I know.
I even tweeted him I don't even know who the fuck this dude is. I just know he's Hank Moody the fourth.
Yeah.
And so he tweeted something, and I was like, you aiming for that fifth account, bud? Something like that. And I don't know if he ever replied because I didn't see it, but what the whole thing of that is like I said, that chick from Chicago, followed her through an August Burns Red thread. And August Burns Red is a heavy metal band. And I don't know, I just saw her comment, and I was like, chick looks kind of cute. Clicked her profile, and I was like, all right, follow. And then I saw some of her tweets, and I was like, oh, some of this is like really funny. And then eventually kind of just messaged each other back and forth. Nothing of it, literally. It was just like just random
Platonic
people talking. And 6 years later, I met her in Chicago.
No way.
When I went out to visit. Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
One of my friends.
8 years. Fuck. 8 years later.
Damn.
Yeah. Sorry.
One of my friends, Lauren, I think she became friends with me through my Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy tweet.
No shit.
She found it and she was like, "Oh my God, this is fucking great. Be my friend." And I was like, "Hell yeah, let's be friends." Right. Yeah. We ended up being friends, talking like all the time on Twitter because she was on there all the time. So we're interacting nonstop on Twitter, interacting nonstop on Instagram. She met all of my friends through me on Twitter. So then a ton of my friends started following her. Same thing, Lauren Beatles. She lives in Florida.
Yeah.
And so
not European chick.
No.
Yeah.
So like met her through Twitter as well. Met her through that tweet as well. But like totally like hit it off. Just awesome fucking friends. Totally like became friends with all of my friends, right? Yeah. And it went from like just me following her to a bunch of like my friends following her too, and having a ton of mutuals that didn't exist before. And fast forward like 4 years, she flew out to Los Angeles for her birthday, and we drove down and picked her up, spent the day in Los Angeles with her. She spent the night at my house and like met my family. I met her family. Like all of our friends, we all hung out and everything. We went to a party down in I don't even remember, a couple hours out. Yeah. But like this chick who just saw my Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy tweet, fast forward years later, and we're in real life hanging out on the other side of the country.
So fucking exciting.
Fucking crazy. And
it's
so
exciting.
Like to reel it back to the whole, like, I don't know how to find people. It's hard to find people. Yeah. It takes conscious effort for you to go out there and just introduce yourself or throw yourself into a community of people who love doing what they're doing. You don't have to evolve your whole life around it, but just dabble in it. Yeah. See how it is. Oh shit, there are people here that I click with that maybe want to grab a drink after this, or want to get some food, or want to see what I'm doing on the weekends. Next thing you know, you're meeting their friends, and you're like, if I get along with this person, I probably get along with the people they get along with.
Right.
It's very easy when you try to find these people.
It can grow very fast. And just to kind of end it on the note of like, after 8 years, of knowing that chick, when we finally met up, we were like, holy fucking shit, dude. Like, we were so excited. And we were just we saw each other like when I pulled up, and she was just like, oh, and I was like, oh. And
that's exactly how Lauren and I were when we ran into each other. Like,
nuts.
It's so cool, man.
It's so weird to think like you were a person that literally stumbled across my account, and now we're hanging out when we lived in like Chicago and Florida are on the other fucking side of the United States.
Yeah.
And then you see these people, and like I had lunch with her and her boyfriend, and they were wonderful fucking people making stupid ass jokes just like it was on Twitter. I'm like, oh, you are who you are.
Yeah.
And like, it's great. And like, yeah, there's a lot of catfish out there, but it's just so fucking, it's so exciting, dude.
Dude, me and my buddy Brandon from Redondo Beach, we literally are so like such close buds. Yeah. We've hung out like once or twice, met each other through Twitter because we both knew this one chick, and I think he said some like corny flirty shit underneath her tweet. Yeah. And then I tweeted back at him full on mocking him, like making fun of him. I don't know why I got this outlandish because I'm never like this, but I just fucking added him and I was like, oh, you look like a fucking dumbass, bud. and he was like, hey, fuck you, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, we legit got into Twitter beef and we're like tweeting back and forth with each other.
The guy you changed your
I was about to say, and so we start talking shit back and forth, and now we start like stalking each other's pages, going back years and finding like old pictures of each other, and we're changing our profile pictures on Twitter to like the ugliest pictures that we could find of the other person. Yeah. And like I'm changing mine to this like picture of him with like bleached hair and a like bloody nose. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, look at me, I'm fucking Brandon, I'm a dumbass and all this shit. And he's like, no, fuck me, like fuck you, I'm Caleb. But I'm like, blah. And we're going back and forth, and we're so pissed at each other because we just out of disrespect. Yeah. And it becomes so fucking funny that we're eventually just dying of laughter at it. Right. And we ended up going, man, fuck that bitch that we were talking about in the first place. You want to be friends? And now we're like fucking buds. And like it's and then when we saw each other when we first hung out, I'm like, what the fuck is up, dude? Like, what the hell? Sick. We were so fucking stoked to like meet each other in person, even though like our virtual selves have already been friends and interacting and everything. Right. It's such a trip.
So, with all that being said,
to wrap it up.
To wrap it up, because you, sir,
I need to get some sleep.
Yes,
Work is tomorrow.
You got to wake up early, and we had a really long day. I mean, we've already talked about it in the intro a little bit, but I want to bring up again the opening up the emails thing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I want to very briefly go over that because we can go on a very long tangent about it. But we kind of briefly talked about it in the intro of just having... We were approached with an idea by multiple people within like almost a day span. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was odd.
Very, very random. To have people just send in emails to our email.
And if you don't use emails, message us on social media.
Yeah, Twitter.
Fucking text us. Most of you guys have our numbers.
Yeah. So actually, I want to keep it to I'm not trying to be rude. Don't text us because I don't want to lose them on the social medias. Unless you don't have those social medias. If you don't have them, then yes. Well, no, then use email. Fuck it. Whatever. I'm trying to get to a point of sending in questions, comments, concerns to us that we can talk about on here, whether you want to remain anonymous with a question, concern, comment, or something about your personal life, or you are cool with saying the name.
Because it would be super dope to have a Q&A
right. So
episode.
To just kind of expand on that, making it kind of like a segment where, if we get overwhelmed, we'll have to like kind of skim through them, but I doubt in the very beginning we will.
Definitely not.
But to just, if anybody wants to say anything about the show, or if they want to say, how would you handle this situation? Or I have this thing going on.
Or bring up some fucking riddle or tongue twister that's hard for you to fucking answer.
Like we can just kind of go through these random things on Twitter and Instagram and through the email.
Yeah, and people have already been messaging this shit to us.
Yeah. Like we talk about the fact that people give us like notes, like we're literally talking about a note now.
Recommendations and shit.
Right. So it's like we can just talk about it on here. I think it would be really fucking cool because
I think it would be dope because then like the people who don't interact with us too much but listen to the episodes can kind of hear what other people who are listening, what their thoughts are.
Yeah. And so I was trying to think for a little while of how to get people more involved. And I thought about this idea for a little bit because I've heard it on other podcasts. But then 2 people, like I said, within a day, messaged us about it. We were like, you know what? Fuck it. That seems pretty cool. So if you guys are interested at all, the people listening, you can send in a question, comment, concern, a riddle, recommendation, whatever you want to do to be like more involved. I want to get people
involved because we can feature it on here and then you can hear your shit that you sent on the episode.
And like I said, you can remain anonymous. So in the beginning of the message, just be like, hey, I don't want my name mentioned at all. I really want to stress that because otherwise I would like to say who it is.
Yeah, because it's cool to hear.
It'd be very cool, especially if like somebody has a point of view and then they were just like, and then their name's out there and then they can meet people like we were just talking about, meeting people.
Make it a community rather than just us talking to everybody.
So if you want to do that at all, you can reach out to us on Twitter, which is Nick and Tub, NickAndTub.
Instagram, which is the same exact
thing, NickAndTub, or the email, which is the Nick and Tub podcast @gmail.com. And that's all spelled out, no ampersand, no spaces, everything's lowercase, doesn't really matter. So the Nick and Tub podcast @gmail.com. If you're interested in that, then
please.
Yeah.
Hit us up.
I think it'd be really cool.
Hell yeah.
So good.
Episode 8.
That was good. I enjoyed that a lot. Man. So thank you guys for listening. Hope you enjoyed that. I mean, I had
a good time.
I really did too.
Solid.
Long ass day.
Way this is a great way to end the weekend.
Yeah. Very much so. And then we're going to be doing another episode tomorrow.
Hopefully, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We got to talk about that.
Got to figure it out.
Yep.
Okay. We will.
So, happy Easter.
Have a good day, guys.
Okay. Bye.